You got Jackie Robinson for what he did.
Yes, number one, rightfully so. I mean, if it wasn't for him, and what's funny is out of all the pictures in my house, he's the one that's prominently displayed in my office.
Right.
Because of what he did and what he means to so many people of color. And I think people, and not so much, I mean, what he did for us as people, Black people, but he allowed to let other countries come here and play this game.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's different in football because you don't see very many Europeans and
no, it's basically an American
for
sport.
us, right? For us, we got guys from South Africa, Japan, Korea,
a lot of Dominican guys. You got Cubans,
mm-hmm.
You got South Korea.
But without him, who knows? And my thing is, if he didn't do it, when would be the next Jackie Robinson?
Right.
It may have been after my dad might have played, so I may have not got the opportunity.
And you had to have the right temperament because the things that were said, the things that were done, you had the right. Everybody couldn't be Jackie Robinson, Griffey.
No. And I say that all the time. I'd be like, I don't know if I could be him. I got to say something.
Exactly. You had to bite your tongue a lot. Talk about the history of baseball with the Black players and why have we seen the decline of Black players playing in the majors?
Well, number one, if you get drafted in football and basketball, you go straight to the show.
Correct.
And in baseball, you get drafted, you go to the minor league, and it could be 6 years,
right?
Before you get there. And I think that's one of the differences. Plus, the other difference is the actual cost. The showcases and this and that. Trying to get the exposure for these young kids. It's quite expensive, and we need to somehow manage a rate where some of these kids can come.
Right.
We got to figure out something, because if you can run, hit, and throw, they will find you. But you got to be that guy. And, and also like the other economic standards, economic problem we have is you can go to Dominican or Venezuela and you can get 5 or 6 guys for what it would cost an American. But it's a two-way street. We got to get guys who want to play. We got to get guys that look like us as coaches on all levels. So I think, when we get that, I think things will change. Because I remember my dad had 19%. I think that was the all-time high, and now it's like 6.72.
Right. You mentioned the instant gratification. I get drafted, I'm going to the NFL. If I get drafted, I'm going to the NBA. And you mentioned, okay, you get drafted, you're going down to the minors. And it's going to be what you say, a minimum of what, a year, 2 years at the minimum?
Yeah. And even if you're a monster, it's a minimum. I mean, you'll have
how long did you stay in the minors?
Year and a half.
But that's the thing though. So you talk about you are, number 1 overall draft pick, goes down for a year and a half. What about the guy that's not you and he stands 5 years, or he's a career minor leaguer, but he got drafted to play in the majors?
Yeah. I tell kids, hey, the hardest part about being here is getting drafted. Obviously somebody wanted you.
Right.
So you get drafted. So from that point on, like I tell people, just relax and go play. Because just like every sport, it's a numbers game.
Right.
Somebody get hurt, you get called in.
Right.
So the hardest, I can't just show up off the street and say, hey, coach, I'm here. I'm about third. I'm ready.
Right.
They're going to look at you like you're crazy. So, most kids put a lot of pressure after they get drafted by the slot that they're in. There's a little bit of jealousy because you're the new guy, you're the new first pick. But you go through that, the learning curve and the growing pains. I was MVP of the league in my first year, but not MVP of my team. That's unheard of, but that happened to me.
Yeah. You know what to do. Hit the subscribe button to become an official member of Club Shay Shay, where we always do something for two something.